What is going on, everybody? Can you see me? Can you hear me? And how's it going? Gonna do probably another Best Ball Mania. It's the only thing that's open right now. I don't know why. Well, actually, they opened up this Greyhound, but I don't know. I feel like I'd rather just do a Best Ball Mania draft. It's like a more expensive draft to go into. The Obviously it's a smaller one, so a little bit easier to win overall, but I'm probably not going to really enter that one at all. It's probably more like when they get the puppies out. We need another puppy. We need some Pomeranians. We need to be able to mass enter some of these smaller dollar contests. Having the $25 the cheapest one right now. I don't know. I feel like they can do a little bit better than that. All right. Let's start it. 23 you in here right now, so join it right now if you want to get in on it. Yeah, we're going to just join one right away. Definitely do a 30-second pick, not the 8-hour ones. How is everyone? Any questions? Fire away to start things off. I think the screen should be good. I feel like this is a good format for us on the left. You guys can see everything there. Obviously, remember the promo code. Not going to get that value anywhere else. Basically everyone's promo code is the same thing. If you work with Underdog, they're all going to get you the up to 250 bonus cash. Everyone's going to get you the Peckham specials. I add on, you get my redraft rankings for free. I'm the only person that does that. So extra value for all of you that want to do that. Fortunately, it's only year one. So if you're joining multiple years, you're only going to be able to do that one time. Let's go, Arlink. Wonder what we're going to get this time. 4-pick. Okay, I like 4-pick. So obviously we're not going to get McCaffrey, but we're basically just going to get one of Lamb, Tyreek Hill, Jefferson, or Jamar Chase. I would say the 5th pick is probably slightly better than the 4-pick. I'm hoping I get Tyreek. I was actually looking at, I don't have too much of exposures today. Let's actually see if we can. I'll show you guys who I have right now. I think I'm through like 15 drafts because I'm in so many slow drafts that, let's see. This season, let's go to exposure. I think it'll only show. Let's do just Best Ball Mania. All right, yeah. So I have 12 Best Ball Mania drafts. This is how things are going. I need to get the Bowers exposure down, so we need to stop drafting Bowers so much. But I looked at like wide receiver, and do I even have a share of? I have one out of 12 Tyreek Hill. So I'd like to get a little bit more. And then in some of the other ones, I wasn't. I can show you some of the other ones here. I wasn't really getting Tyreek Hill at all. So I kind of want to make sure we get a little bit of Tyreek Hill, because obviously he's someone you never want a full fade anyone in round one that is like, has 150 and 3 in their range of outcomes, which is basically everyone in round one. So you want to make sure you've got relatively even exposures, which is why, if you're planning to like do best ball in the summer, right? Don't be like, I have $100. I'm going to join 4 Best Ball Manias. Join a bunch of puppies, join a bunch of Pomeranians, even out that exposure, because you don't want it to be like, well, you had to have Tyreek Hill. All right, well, if you're 4 drafts, you couldn't draft Tyreek Hill and you just lose. That's no fun, right? Which is why, honestly, I think best ball is better than redraft, in my opinion. So we don't get Tyreek Hill. I've been flip-flopping the Chase Jefferson one. I can't remember. Did we have this decision last time? I can't really remember if we had this one. I think I'm going to go Chase because I do think I have slightly more Jefferson. Just having Jefferson ranked a little bit higher means it's a little bit more likely with his ADP a little bit lower that I get him. So I'll take Chase in this one. I'll kind of see how the team turns out there. And we'll make this bigger for all of you. But yeah, I need more Tyreek Hill. I need him to start falling. He always just goes at 2-3 though. So you have to have a 2 or 3 pick to get him. And I feel like I've had a ton of drafts in this like 4 through 10 range. I feel like if I've done 12 of the Best Ball Manias, I'm probably on the clock or like in the slow drafts for like 15 more. I would say like 80% of those, maybe 90% of those are like 4 through 10 pick. I just feel like I just keep getting that. And to start off, I was getting 9, 10 in like every single one. But I've gotten a few ones as well, but I keep starting McCaffrey. So again, I'm not getting 2-3, not getting much Lamb, Tyreek Hill, but that'll even off as we go through things. You got in, nice. We got 2. Who are you guys? So Kamari could be you. Let me know what your like usernames are, so I can keep an eye on your drafts. Interesting, Bijan goes at 8. So everything was normal through 5. I see St. Brown go a lot at 6. Then it's typically Brees and Hall. Brees and Hall. Bijan and Hall. Brees Hall and Bijan Robinson. Then it goes Puka, A.J. Brown. I mean, there's no real complaining there. Like, you just pick who you want. But you're the really long name here. Would that be this one? There's like multiple super long names that are all just like jumbling into one over here, but I'm assuming you're this one. The returns. All right. We'll keep an eye, but that's a good value if that is you. Oh, so you guys are 10 and 11. Okay. Nice. Good value at 10 getting Brees Hall. You can have a really nice start with that. And then Garrett, I mean, that's just, a classic 11 pick. My guess is, you could really do anything you want with you could go Garrett and then the running backs and then go like Hero with one of those running backs, or you could just keep hammering wide receiver. Really, honestly, it comes down to how much you like JT and Saquon. Yeah, I think Wilson and Taylor's really, really good start. What do you think, Hill versus CD? I would just split it. In my opinion, you split it because I don't think there's a huge difference. My projections have CD Lamb. It's just like they're both locks. They're both amazing. For best ball, it's basically going to come down to who has a great game in the final few weeks. Oh, also, speaking of that, maybe I'll try and pull that up over here and show you guys. I made a graphic that anyone can download. I posted it in the Discord, so go in the Discord. You can go to the website, thefantasyfootballadvice.com. You'll notice where Discord is. It shows this. So I can make this bigger for everyone. It just shows the breakdown. So if you wanted to see, I don't know, you drafted Anthony Richardson and you wanted to see exactly who they have in the playoff weeks, download this to your phone, download this to your computer, and you can always like bring it up kind of as a reference. So Miami plays at Houston, San Fran, and then at Cleveland, which are probably going to be relatively high scoring games overall. But yeah, go to the Discord and you guys can download that for free. I think it's a useful tool. Okay. We're going to be up. We're obviously going wide receiver. As you can see in my rankings on the left here, I have a billion wide receivers up here. It would be really nice to be able to double dip, and I think we can. So we're probably going to start off with 3 straight wide receivers. I would love Chris Olave, but I will settle for Devonta Adams. I won't be too upset. But yeah, I really, really like Olave this season. I like Shaheed. I like that entire offense. Basically, the hope right now is, again, we're pretty early, so we don't actually know a ton. It seems like right now they're going to use a lot more motion. They're going to be a little bit better at, getting guys open. It seems like the offense is just going to be a little bit better overall. We know that Olave is fantastic when put into motion. And he's just a great wide receiver. I feel like he's kind of in that range where it's like, maybe people view him a little bit worse than, this whole range of like London, Harrison, Wilson, just because, he's kind of, I don't want to say as underwhelmed, but he hasn't like hit the ceiling we were kind of hoping that he would have yet. I think it's coming. I think he's going to have a really, really good season. So yeah, I like this Chase Olave start, and we should end up with, I'll just go back to this ranking here. We might just miss it. I thought there were more wide receivers there. Yeah, there's only 2 wide receivers in that top tier. Although it's not a huge drop down, but like we would love DJ Moore or Waddle. We would probably just settle for Achane. And if we don't get Achane, we are unfortunately starting this next tier, and then we kind of have to decide what to do. Because everyone has drafted a wide receiver. My rankings would say go with Diggs. You guys know I love the value on Tank Dell more than Diggs. Okay, Neighbors goes. I think the move here is to grab Achane, because I don't think I want to take Laporta this early. I don't want to take Allen, and I don't want to reach down for Metcalf. So it truly would be Achane or Stephon Diggs. I think my team will work out a little bit better if I take Achane and then I take a wide receiver after that. I think that's what I want to do. You could have definitely started off 3 wide receivers there. Again, I've talked about kind of being off Achane a little bit. That was when he was in round 2. I just thought we just had such a locked in first 2 rounds of like especially great wide receiver value. Oh wow, Derrick Henry went at 18. I didn't notice that. We just had such a good first 2 rounds. There were such good wide receivers that I just couldn't see really spending that pick on Achane, because then you miss out on that top tier, and it's like Achane and that lesser wide receiver. Now that we got Chase and Olave, I feel much more strongly about our start at wide receiver. Now let me take the upside of Achane. I've also read some things that are, very, very strong indicators for Achane. Obviously, he's not going to average. What did he average? Like 7.5 yards a carry last season. No one thinks he's going to do that again, but he's obviously a phenomenal fit on this offense. I talk about Jalen Wright. I like him as a prospect. There's no guarantee he's going to be amazing. No guarantee that Mostert stays healthy. And honestly, let's be honest, like he was very good last season on limited touches. So a player that I cannot see myself taking in round 2. Round 3, when you just miss out on that top wide receiver, I think Achane becomes the pick over Laporta, Kelsey, quarterbacks, second tier of wide receiver, and really third tier of wide receiver, like Metcalf, Devonta Smith, Pittman. But I could see Diggs with that pick if you want to do that. All right, first question. 10-man full PPR. You're picking 10th, okay? You feel like the value this year is at running back, going with Gibbs, Saquon, Kyren, JT. Is 2 running backs a viable start in full PPR league this year? I do think it is viable. I don't think I would do it with Kyren. I think there's enough risk factors with Kyren, with the foot issue that he seems to keep having, with them drafting Corum, not to replace him, but as a clone of him, where I don't think I would double dip at 10 taking Kyren. So if you're double dipping, I think I would leave it to Gibbs, JT, Saquon. And ideally, I think I would want Gibbs and JT. Saquon, I love. I think that they love him. I think that they're going to use him more in the red zone than they use like DeAndre Swift. I think he'll still be used in the receiving game. He is still somewhat capped with like when they get to the 1, they're still going to do the tush push. Like they're still going to do that. Obviously, the receptions are semi-capped with Jalen Hurts being super mobile. We have seen when JT is healthy on that offense, even last season, like phenomenal. Like when JT is healthy, he is like the best running back behind McCaffrey. And then Gibbs, of course, has that significant ceiling with the receptions. With I think if he can add on some touchdowns, with that offense just being so good. I don't know. I think Gibbs and JT, if you miss out on that, I would probably just lean wide receiver, because like your consolation prize is like, Puka, AJ Brown, Garrett Wilson, Harrison, London, like still great players. So yeah, that's kind of the take there. All right, let's close out of this. We're up in a few. We're up in 2 actually. Obviously we would love T. Higgins, and then we'd be able to start with like a Cincy stack. That would be fantastic. If we miss out on that, I'm not in love with the wide receiver options. So I think we would probably end up taking Etienne. Okay, but good, because I didn't really want to go there. I just think, no brainer. And honestly, if Higgins ends up not on Cincy, I mean, in the 4th round, it's still likely that he is traded to a situation that wants to invest in him, likely a team that's good. I don't think a bad team that's not competing would trade for T. Higgins. Like that does that make any logical sense that a team would want to do that, pay him if they're not any good? So I think if he goes somewhere, it's going to be a really nice landing spot for him. And if he doesn't, we're starting off with Jamar Chase and T. Higgins. So obviously, another thing, I think maybe it was Scott Barrett talked about it. I don't remember who. Talked about how you almost like lock in value at quarterback. So like think about Burrow right now. Who on earth is going after Burrow in this draft? Like I guess you could draft him naked, but like the odds are we just locked in really strong value, and we can actually take a risk in getting Joe Burrow by taking Chase and Higgins, because it's so unlikely someone's going to like reach for him. So we're probably going to be able to get Joe Burrow at a good value. It's just like, I think they call it like the compounding ADP. Like when you start investing on a team, you not only get the value of what if this team is just awesome and they do fantastic this year, you get the value of, well, who would draft them naked when everyone wants to be stacking. So you kind of get that value at that third player. So interesting there. But I don't remember. I think it was Scott Barrett that talked about it. Okay. 4 up. I would love Pacheco here. That would be fantastic. I don't think he's going to fall to us at this spot. I would definitely be fine with Kincaid. Rack up a ton of receptions with Kincaid. We'll be able to take, 2 tight ends, take, one more late. Okay. I think Kincaid would help with this team a lot. You could definitely argue Keenan Allen. If we wanted to add another running back in James Cook, I'm totally fine with that. I think I want to take Kincaid. Yeah. I think I want to do that. I don't know. I like these teams where I'm investing, a relatively early tight end. I don't find myself drafting Laporta that much because round 3 feels a little bit early, but round 5, like 5, 6, kind of going after this like Kincaid and Pitts range and just saying, okay, maybe Kincaid has like 90 receptions. He can be a really strong tight end every week. And I just kind of draft one late, or I go with like Ferguson because I really like Ferguson this season and draft like 2 really strong ones. But it basically locks in. I don't have to spend that 3rd pick. And I feel like if I don't have to spend that 3rd pick at tight end, and we only ever draft 2 quarterbacks, I don't know. And I'm already invested really heavily in wide receiver. It's like you have a lot of strength there and being like, either I'm just decked out at wide receiver, or I can avoid running back even longer and draft some, handcuffs late, some high upside options late. And so like it opens up a lot of doors when you have to spend 3 late round picks on tight end. It's like, well, there's so many. Honestly, I'm starting to like a lot of the running backs late, but there's so many wide receivers I love in the later rounds too, that it's like, I don't want to spend all those picks on tight ends because then it's like, there's a lot of options I feel like I'm foregoing. And I don't really like a lot of late tight ends. Like, look at this list here. Like, once you get past, like, even, do we really love Freiermuth? No. Kmet? No. Musgrave? Fine, but I don't like Hunter Henry that much. Ben Sinnott? No. And likely fan. It's like you're praying these dudes have like 6 touchdowns, like praying they have 6 touchdowns. I don't know. And they're likely going to have like 3. It just doesn't feel great. Struggling to find a strategy you like in mocks in a 12-man tight end premium league with the 12 pick. Yeah. I mean, you just got to try and keep firing away at that. I think the 12 pick, it does lend itself to multiple different strategies. Like I truly believe this season, the 1 pick is great because you get McCaffrey, and then it's like you could really go hero RB there. But I don't think there's like one spot of the draft that is like significantly better. Like we've had years where like if you have a tail end pick, it kind of stinks, right? You look at the picks and like, I got a huge value discount there. I think all the picks are really strong this season, no matter where you kind of are. So at 12, I think it's viable doing like what we talked about before, where if you double dipped on like Jameer and like Saquon, Jameer and JT, I think that's viable. I think hero RB is always a good strategy. That always grades out really well. So if you wanted to pick your favorite of Jameer, Saquon, JT, and just draft a bunch of wide receivers after that, I think that's a great strategy. I think it's really just value based. Pick the player you like at that 12 turn. Pick 2 players you like and go from there. It's a little risky doing the 2 running backs because technically if that 3rd spot is the best value running back, now you're kind of locked into a box. But I think it's still viable this season given the strength we still have there. But yeah, I think hero. If I had to guess, I would say hero is probably the best strategy. It's just you got to pick the hero right, Okay. We're not going to take Burrow. We're going to try and take him at the next pick. So we'll try and take him at 76, right at his ADP. I don't think anyone's going to take him before that. If we wanted to go wide receiver, best value is Addison. You guys know I'm not in love with it. But I mean, I'm not in love with it in my projections, and I do have him as the top projected player. I'm not going to double dip tight end with Kittle, so we're not going to go there. Aaron Jones wouldn't be a bad pick, but I don't know. I feel that's my consolation prize if Burrow gets sniped there. And then it would be Burrow. So I think it'd be Addison or Godwin. I haven't figured out if I need to move Godwin a little bit higher in the rankings. Let me know your guys' thoughts on that. If you think Godwin would be like a slightly better pick there. They've talked about him moving back into the slot, which we like. We like from Chris Godwin. I don't like, it's kind of talk at this point. We don't exactly know what the role is going to be. I think my thing is I like McMillan. Like, I just think he's a really good player. And so that's my worry, is that he takes a little bit more work than the traditional wide receiver 3 has been taking. And if that happens, maybe we don't see that ceiling as much. But obviously, like you guys know, I've loved Godwin for years. I think he's a great player. So I don't know. It's a really difficult one for me. I'd be curious to know what you guys think between those two. Need Underdog in Washington? Yes, they do. Absolutely do. Washington's strict on all that stuff, though. But it's weird because they have like casinos and everything. What rookie wide receivers are you high on this year for redraft specifically? Half PPR scoring. Okay, after my pick, I'll go. We'll like scroll through again. I imagine we're gonna get Burrow here, but if we don't, Ladd kind of falling a little bit past where he typically goes, that would be a good pick. Montgomery, if we want to just load up on all those potential touchdowns there. I would not still go with tight end. I don't think I would end up going. I like Kyler a lot, but like I would have preferred to have drafted, Marvin Harrison, prefer to have drafted, I can't think of his name, McBride. My goodness. All right. So what I talked about before with the Burrow, if you're drafting a lot of teams and you want to try this out, there is a world where you could fade Burrow here. I could draft Ladd, and I almost want to try it for you guys. How many picks is it? It'd be a 9. There's no way. But it's something I want to try out. Is how much, like, will people reach? Will people be like, you know what? This is too good a value for Burrow. I can go in and grab like Chase Brown or Zach Moss. I can grab. They have multiple tight ends. You can grab one of the tight ends. You could grab. What's the rookie, Burton, Jermaine Burton. I think so. Someone would realize it and be like, okay, let's take him. But if you're trying to like win Best Ball Mania, right? I think there's a reasonable outcome here where you draft Ladd. You hope that everyone else is going for their stacks. No one's going to mess with yours. And you could get Burrow at the next pick. I just think it was probably a little bit too far. 93. Like if our next pick was at 88 and he's going at 76, maybe 93. I don't know. It feels like a stretch. And also for it to work out, Ladd would have to be way better than the pick we got at 93. And I don't know. I think he's going to be good, but it probably wasn't worth the risk. But if you were doing like, you're max entering 2 puppies and Best Ball Mania, right? You're going for like 450 teams. I do absolutely think on a few of them you should take that chance because I think it'll work out sometimes. And when that works out, it'd be really good. But I think you would probably do it if like, maybe you were in love with Deontay like I am, or you were in love with Godwin. You really wanted to get that as well and really stack out that wide receiver core and then get Burrow. I feel like Ladd probably wasn't worth it at that spot. You're at pick 12. Can't believe we draft. You draft tonight in a redraft league? Wait, what? I guess more context. You gave the super chat. So any question you want, I'm going to answer. That is wild if you actually draft a redraft league on May 28th. But I will say, for anyone who like is in a league that drafts early, if you are in a redraft league and someone brings up drafting in June, right? Drafting before, like, how like mid-July is when like camps kind of like start back up again. If you draft earlier, it can be very beneficial if you've been tuned in. So if you've been like, oh, okay, I was going to say, that's crazy. So you're at 12. I'll go over your team in a second. So we have people at 10, 11, 12 then. Interesting. It typically benefits you, like especially like rookie drafts. If your league pays attention, but like not super pay attention, and you want to do it like right after the draft, benefits you. You want to do your redraft league in like late June before camps open, benefits you. Because once camps open, everyone kind of figures things out. Everyone starts to see the players that are hyped, and they kind of get better ADPs. ADPs on sites get sharper, so everything kind of happens there. Right now, I mean, if you were to draft on like ESPN, their pre-draft rankings are probably horrific, like truly terrible. You're going to have a great time in that draft. So if you can swing it with your manager and, be like, hey, let's draft earlier, or your commissioner, it is a recommended. But I understand because I don't push for it in my leagues because I do enjoy drafting like that, kind of like Labor Day weekend. Okay, so we still have the one running back, but that's totally fine. Najee, Brooks are in consideration here. Probably not anyone else at running back. The play is definitely Brooks or Jameson. Yeah, it's Brooks or Jameson. Love them both. I could absolutely see a case for either one of them. I think for my team, it probably benefits me a little bit more going with Brooks. They are going to be super run heavy. They are going to be much better offense this season. In my opinion, they're going to be much better offense, but objectively, they're going to be very run heavy. Probably not to start the year for Brooks. So in redraft leagues, understand that like if you took Achane and Brooks, you're probably going to need someone else just at that running back too. Just so you see it though, like it could easily be like I don't remember exactly when Brees last year kind of started taking off. But it could be a Brees situation from last year where it's like, people are like, oh, you're going to need someone else to start the season. And then like pretty quickly it was like, well, you can definitely still play him. And, very early in the season, it's like, oh, now he's a must start. Right. So it could be like, okay, you need someone else. And then in week 3, he gets 20 touches and you're like, oh, okay, it's time to start Brooks every single week. Right. That could happen. Also, if I get James in this pick, I'm going to like be over the moon. But we're probably not going to. And I do want to get back to wide receiver. So I'd like Lockett. They're going to be more pass heavy this season. Definitely like him. I also need to check who Cincy plays in those final weeks. I know I talked about the sheet that I made, but I didn't pull it up for myself to reference here. So we'll pull that one up. Oh, I guess we can look at it here. I don't know why I pulled up the NFC one, but we'll just minimize that and go to the AFC one. Oh my goodness. There we go. Titans, Browns, Broncos. Okay. Oh, we got him. Wow. Interesting. So wouldn't be bad if you want to get a stack of him there. But I think Jameson is just, that's the best pick we can make here. I know we have a lot of wide receivers, but this is best ball. You're starting 3 every week. You are hopefully starting 4 if you can capture 4 spikes at wide receiver. You want to be hammering these high upside players, and you don't have to figure it out, right? You don't have to figure it out with Jameson. With Jameson, he's going to have a few spiked weeks. You're going to capture that on Underdog. You're going to have him in that starting lineup every time he spikes. I think he's a phenomenal pick. Even getting him at 88, 89, he would have been a good pick at our last one. So we're liking it. I like this draft so far. I like this draft a lot. I am going to have to figure out who I want at the next quarterback spot. But I could easily go with McCarthy. I could go with, I don't think Goff has been drafted, right? Yeah, McCarthy or Goff are like the leading candidates right now. We can do a late stack with like May and some of the Patriots wide receivers, late stack with Bo Nix, maybe some of the Denver receivers. So we have options for some backdoor stacks. Oh, who did I take first? Jamar Chase. First, if you guys can't see, the first 4 picks were McCaffrey, Lamb, Hill, Chase, Jefferson. It went exactly by ADP. So nothing crazy happened in the first 4. Hurts, Saquon is somewhat of a stack. Oh, did I skip some things? Yeah, Richardson, Pittman, pick for me. Yeah, I like the Richardson Pittman stack, definitely. Although I am releasing a video, I believe tomorrow, kind of being a little bit off on Pittman just at his ECR, so the Fantasy Pros rankings. But yeah, Hurts Saquon is a stack of being I think the Eagles score, 59 touchdowns, 60 touchdowns this season. And you basically capture 100% of them having Hurts and Saquon. So, is it unlikely that Saquon's going to catch 3 touchdowns? Yeah, right. That's probably not going to happen. There are going to be a lot of weeks where they're negatively correlated, but if we're just looking at points over the season, you're capturing all of their touchdowns, which is obviously very good. Would you accept AJ Brown for the 102, and the 102 for Hill in Dynasty? 102 ends up being Neighbors or a quarterback. Marvin Harrison Jr. off the board thing. So would I receive? Yeah. If I could get AJ Brown and Malik Neighbors, so I'm assuming in probably a 1 quarterback league, AJ Brown and Neighbors is way better than Tyreek Hill in Dynasty. Not even close. Okay. Oh, we almost got Spears that next pick. Would have loved that. We're up in 1. Running back. Singletary. Probably don't want anyone else at this pick. You could argue for Chubb, especially we had that AFC. Remember AFC? So if Chubb went off in week 16, that could actually really benefit us. I don't really want any of these wide receivers. Don't want any of those tight ends. No quarterbacks are value. So Singletary or Chubb, I don't think I want the correlation bad enough. I think Singletary is just like a strong pick. We're going to get touches. Is he going to be a running back one? I mean, let's be honest, probably not. Am I concerned a little bit about is it Tyron Tracy? Yeah, Tyron Tracy Jr. Yes, but more in the receiving game and more as like a specialist. I think they're going to use Tyron Tracy as like not like a third down back traditionally all the time. I think more as like creating screen passes for him, just creating opportunities to get him the ball. But that Singletary will be their more traditional back who will still be on the field some third downs. Would be cool if we got Nick Chubb at this pick though. But if not, we'll just go with Chase Brown. And so I still think Singletary, especially at 117, is a very strong pick. But I think now that we can get Chubb as our fourth running back, that makes sense. I know Chubb is not going to start the season fully healthy, but if he gets going into the season and maybe he's putting up, running back one numbers and is explosive in week 16, well, what if he busts off 2 50-yard touchdowns in week 16 and we need Joe Burrow to throw to Chase and Higgins a bunch because maybe Higgins resigns? That is significant upside. Like that game obviously could easily go off, especially that game would be home for the Bengals. Yeah, that could be something that pushes us over. If this team can advance into week 16, that could be something that gets us into the biggest week, obviously, week 17. So I like this team so far. I think it's working out really nicely. What do we need more of? We need more wide receivers. So we got Achane, Brooks, Singletary, Chubb. I think we can probably finish with 5 running backs we can finish with 5 running backs, I think. As long as we feel like pretty solid about said running back. And we've got a lot of picks left. So we'll need another quarterback and another tight end, but we're only going to draft 2 at those positions. That's 2 picks. One more running back, that's 3 picks. That's 12, 13, 14. So we're going to have 15, 16, 17, 18. We're going to have 4 more opportunities to draft high upside, high weekly upside, and season-long upside wide receivers. So I like this team. I like how this is going. Do you have a preferred spot for 12-man? Is 1 through 5 still best? I still think, again, like I said, it's kind of even this year. I do think that a lot of the picks are sort of even. 1 through 5 is worse than previous years because I do think the drop-off happens quicker. It also comes down a little bit to your league. If you are in a like semi-competitive league, one where you're like, there's a few people every year that kind of make questionable decisions, it is more beneficial to you. Pull this up a little bit. It's a little bit more beneficial to you to grab that high-end player, hope that some errors are made and that you get one of those elite players in that late second round. Something that can't happen if you're in a more competitive league. Obviously, everyone wants McCaffrey. Like, if you could get the 101 and get McCaffrey, that's great. Obviously, we feel very good about Lamb, Hill, Jefferson, Chase, and we feel very good about starting teams like that. So it's probably my lean to do that. But honestly, if you just randomly assign me a pick, I truly do not believe that right now, at least, there's like a huge edge in any spot. But if you made me pick, obviously the 101's nice. Yes, it's Best Ball Mania. You got Goddard for that Eagle stack. Very nice. Review Team 12. You went Hero RB. You got Josh Allen, but all your stacks were taken. All right. So wide receivers, you got Harrison, Cooper Kupp, Ridley, Brian Thomas Jr., Myers, and Wicks. I love Myers. I love Wicks. I'm totally fine with Brian Thomas Jr. I don't end up with him a lot, but I'm fine with it. Where are we? Oh, we're 2 picks away. I'll finish after that. You guys know like Downs, so I'll take Downs if he's there at our next pick. Do we have any? We don't have Atlanta. We don't have the Jets. We don't have Rams. So we're not going to take quarterback at the spot. There goes Downs. I don't really want these tight ends. I don't think I'm going to go there. Ugh, Quentin. No, I'd rather just take a shot on Pearsall, really. I don't trust Quentin Johnston. I don't hate grabbing Dowdle here, though. It's just that I lock myself into it. No, I don't want to do that. I don't want to do that. I would take Dowdle maybe at like the next pick. I think we'll do Pearsall. I just think there's upside there. You got the potential for the trades. I don't know if the trades are going to happen, but you got potential for injuries. Like any game that they have Ayuk or Debo out, Pearsall's going to be awesome. Like I think he's a great player. He's got great upside. If there's ever an injury, he's going to be great. If they trade either one of them, or like something happens to where one of those two, Ayuk or Debo, is not on the field, they go right back to back. I think he's got significant upside. I'd be fine if you liked Quentin Johnston there. I don't know. I just can't make myself draft him. It's just too difficult for me to pull the trigger on that. At our next spot, Burton makes the most sense for us, right? It's, a slight reach by ADP, but who cares? Just, again, capturing that upside. We're just looking for those spiked weeks. We grab all three of the wide receivers for Cincy. I mean, anytime they go off, obviously. I feel like Cincy's being a little bit undervalued this season. Obviously, Burrow wasn't great last year, but the dude was like limping around in the pocket, There is a drop-off here, though. So Polk, Wilson, and Burton. Kind of a drop down into Bateman, Mims, McCaffrey. So we'll hope for that. I wouldn't mind Marshawn Lloyd if we ended up with that. But I think, Burton just makes the most sense. Nice. This team is coming along nicely. We're going to need quarterback, but it's still doing good. Okay, so your team. Again, I love Wicks. I love Myers. Harrison. I think Cooper Kupp's a perfectly fine pick at the tail end of round 3. I don't go there as much. I think it's going to shift a lot more towards Puka, but I think it's a totally fine pick. Josh Allen, obviously fine at 37. You're going to want something, so I would go after. I think Knox might be your only option at this point. I would try and get Knox, but at least he could run in a lot of touchdowns. But if he has a monster season, you got to capture it in some way. Running backs, you've got Gibbs, Moss, Eckler, and Chandler. Completely fine with those. I don't think I'm in love with Chandler. I do think it could be the Aaron Jones show, but I think the other three are perfectly good. Evan Ingram. Yeah, so I think you're going to have to just close off. You're going to have to close off quarterback. Has Stafford gone? Because I don't think Stafford's gone. That could be a good pick at this next spot. Like Stafford, you could go with Levis late. I don't really know if I'd mess with the Raiders wide receiver or Raiders quarterbacks. But I think overall good. I like the team. I like where people are. Some players I'm not in love with, but I don't think it's a bad team by any means. I think it's a good roster construction there. But I would probably go after the quarterback here if Stafford is available. Quinn Johnson is terrible. He truly is. I don't remember what it is. Don't quote me on this, but I think Matt Harmon, reception perception, he charts all the wide receivers. I want to say he has a 1 percentile success rate versus man, just completely horrific. Just literally no one's worse. And I think this is the same thing in zone. He's so bad. Pearsall, good run blocker for him to be on the field. I think they like him a lot. I think they hit. I think he's going to be a really good wide receiver. My model doesn't love him, but it's a production model, right? And he didn't have a ton of production. I think he's really good, though. How do you feel about McBride this year? He's obviously going to be very good. My only concern is, I have seen him go round 3. I think round 3 is tough for any of these guys. Laporta, Kelsey, McBride. I think I'd want all of them in round 4 because you're foregoing some really, really quality players in that range. My only concern with McBride is, was he a target hog because everyone else was terrible? Right? Does bringing Marvin Harrison Jr. in there funnel a ton of targets into him? But then the flip side, you're okay, but Kyler's back, right? Kyler is more removed from the ACL injury. He is healthy for now, but he is objectively an upgrade over It was Dobbs, and then who was that scrub they had that was like basically a tight end that was like playing quarterback or like a running, like he was awful. Like he had awful quarterback play, and McBride was still racking up like 7 receptions every week. So yeah, no, I think McBride is really good, strong pick in like round 4. All right, we're almost up again. Again, we need another tight end. We need another quarterback, one more running back. At quarterback, I think we wait. I don't see anything that is like a dire need for us right now. Running back, I don't really want to draft any of them, so probably won't. I would take Bateman. I like the upside on Bateman this season. Tight end, no. I think I'm probably just going to punt tight end. We've got Kincaid. I'm hoping Kincaid can get to like 90, 100 receptions, have a really strong season. I'll draft one late. I don't think there's anything differentiating all of these tight ends. They're all so mediocre. Honestly, I'll go after Gesicki. Let's just go all in on Cincy. Cincy goes off. I'll have every single spiked week player for Cincy, for the Cincy passing attack. What's the bye week though? Bye week for, oh man, it's okay. I'm going to talk about that in a second. So for the bye weeks, I can't justify drafting a quarterback with the same bye. Like, you're taking a 0 when everyone else is taking like 20, 25 points. I understand the argument that if you have the best team, typically in Best Ball Mania, you have the best team by a lot. You usually win by like 100 points. Losing those 20 points is not going to make a difference. But you're assuming you have the best team. Like, if you're in that like 2, 3, 4, 5 range, that 20 points is going to make a really, really big difference for you. And so it's kind of tough just taking the 0. So unless it's a really strong value and you just love everything else, you probably got to take that third or just avoid taking that second bye week quarterback. Tight end, let's be honest, you're going to have weeks, even with Kincaid and someone else, where you score like 4. So taking the 0 in week 12 is relatively irrelevant for tight end. I really wouldn't worry about it that much. As a tiebreaker, sure, but I'm not, it just shouldn't like dissuade me from drafting Mike Gesicki around his ADP at 208 just because of the bye. I'll take the 0. I would have only scored a couple points there anyways. I want that stack a little bit more. We're not going to take him with this pick. With this pick, I mean, we can take our boy Mims. I don't know if it's ever going to happen for him, but it could. I still think Sean Payton likes him a lot. That's the only wide receiver I want. It's pretty good value in Algier as a backup. You know, obviously great upside there. I don't know how much I want it. I just don't think quarterback's the play. Yeah, let's do it. Because I don't really feel that strongly about Mims this season. Unless we start seeing something where they're going to use him more. I don't know. It's tough. And I look at everyone else, like, I'm not in love with Herbert or Dobbins. Tracy would be fine if you want to like just kind of have like that scat back production. Pierce, if he gets traded. Is it Esteem or Estimate, by the way? I don't actually know how to pronounce his last name, but he's fine. But it's the early down back, right? He's going to have like 3 catches. That's not great. Guerrero could hit for some big plays. But you start getting to this range, and it's like, if you want to take a shot on Blake Watson, I don't know. I don't like any of these running backs. We kind of exited the range of some of those high upside options I liked. Honestly, it was like Bucky Irving and Algier were kind of his last 2. And you know what? If Bijan has a big injury, obviously that's going to produce like basically running back 1 numbers for Algier. So close off running back there. I'm definitely thinnest at running back, having Achane, Brooks, Singletary, Chubb, and Algier. But we're basically banking on, can Chubb get back to form by midseason? Singletary's a lead back. Brooks is a lead back. Achane, can we hit for some spikes? And I just don't think it's going to be worth taking another running back at this spot. So I think we kind of keep loading up on wide receiver. I mean, there's only 3 picks left. Basically, it's take 1 quarterback, 1 tight end, and 1 more wide receiver. But I don't know. The Mims, I got to see it more. I don't know that he's ever going to command a high target share. So I think I'm kind of a little bit more out on him. So what is our exact spot? 196, 189, 196, 213. Okay, so I think we'll take Gesicki at like 196. It's just really not worth risking it there. We'll want a wide receiver that we like. If I'm with Wandell, I really just don't like Michael Wilson. I don't think he's can command any target share. good with Tolbert, McMillan, Javon Baker. I'd be fine with Douglas. I think the rookies may overtake him though. Okay, that's kind of our options there. Quarterback. We do have to figure that out. What are your suggestions? I want a backdoor stack a quarterback here. But, I mean, I don't have anyone drafted at the moment that I can do any sort of stack with. So we need to think about what wide receiver we could draft. Because May's gone, right? Yeah. I mean, it's probably Daniel Jones. It's probably Daniel Jones and hope you can get Wandale and then I don't think I'm going to get Wandale. That's the problem. What wide receiver can we get? I mean, I'll take the Wandale Daniel Jones stack. I just don't see. Like, do we take? I feel like, honestly, maybe we just naked Daniel Jones and hope that the rushing upside can kind of get it for us a few weeks. I guess Derek Carr and is A.T. Perry available? Okay. Carr and Perry could be a backup option if we can't get Wandale. Oh, Knicks has the... Yeah. I actually thought Mims would get taken. Okay. Oh, Mims goes. Yeah, so Mims would have been the nice correlation there. But no, I think Wandale, I think Wandale's just like a good player. Not going to be like a 30% target share dude, but like who is in this range? And I do think Daniel Jones is being very undervalued. I truly do not believe those backups are actually competing with Daniel Jones. Daniel Jones is someone who's been highly productive in fantasy. Like, for the fact that he's going in round like 17, 18, when we all know full well he's capable of running for 30, 40, 50 yards in a game and a touchdown, which is already adding on 9, 10, 11 points. Upgraded weapons. I don't know. I just don't see why he's going this late. So I think it's a good backdoor stack. I did not check the bye week. I should have done that before. Week 11. Beautiful. If someone takes him, I mean, I don't know. We'll probably just take Knicks. Yeah, we'd pick like Knicks and then we maybe shift to Dulcich. I don't know. Who should we take though? Should we take Daniel Jones or Gesicki? All these. It says he has 4 quarterbacks. What are you doing? Everyone in the turn has 2 or 3. I don't think anyone's taking Daniel Jones. I think we take Gesicki. I think that's smarter. Take Gesicki, grab that stack. Again, I had that take. I don't think that the 2 week 12 bye, it's going to cost us a few points. I would rather that correlation. I mean, let's be honest. I could have drafted Noah Fant and he could have scored 2 in week 12. Like, we truly do not know what they would have done, but it probably wouldn't be a lot. Yeah, I don't think anyone's going to take a quarterback here. Okay, takes a quarterback. Why is everyone drafting like 6 quarterbacks? He's got 3. This guy's got 4. This guy's got 3. Like 4 is egregious, but I don't know. Typically, you don't even really want 3. I don't know. Is Taysom Hill gone? I believe Taysom Hill's a quarterback. Yeah. So Taysom Hill's listed as a quarterback. So you don't get that cheat code of, which I love. It was so stupid that he was a tight end. Like, the dude never took snaps at tight end. He was always taking snaps at running back or quarterback, and yet he's listed as a tight end on sites. And it was always it was always a thing. Like, why does it have to be a thing? Like, why does Taysom Hill need to be a thing that's like deciding championships? It shouldn't be. So I'm glad that he's a quarterback now. We don't have to worry about that. But yeah, we'll take Daniel Jones here. We're not going to take another. Obviously, it's going to be round 18. We need that second quarterback. If we don't, who would be better, Knicks or Carr? I have a weird feeling about Carr. I think that's probably why he's going late. If you guaranteed me he was going to play the full season as a starting quarterback, I mean, I still have Taysom Hill projected for like pass attempts. I have backup quarterback play predicted for pass attempts. Carr still grades out better than he should be kind of going this late. I don't know. I just have a weird feeling. I don't like it. So if I end up, there was a few drafts where I drafted like Kamara, Shaheed, and Jawan without even really recognizing it. I'm like, okay, well, my second quarterback should be Derek Carr at this point. But aside from that, I am not seeking out Derek Carr this season. But yeah, I don't think someone's gonna take Daniel. So I think we're gonna have this locked in. I'll pull this up for you guys. You can see the final round. You can like sort of see it. Yeah, no, I understand the case for Carr. Yes, upgraded offensive line, better offensive coordinator, more creative offensive coordinator. I don't know. Something about it. Something seems off to me. But again, I've drafted him a few times, so, and I probably have him like ahead of ADP. Like I have Carr ahead of ADP. Do you have a rule of thumb for dropping people for waiver wire ads early in the season? Sometimes you don't know whether it's time to get go or go for the hot commodity. I mean, so for early in the season, you want to be a little bit more aggressive because that is historically where the best ads are. Like historically looking back, there are people who you pick up off waiver wire early in the season. They turn out to be league winners in a way that, like, obviously late in the season you can have like, you know, running back X tears their ACL, their backup. I saw quarterback and I was like, my goodness, is that 4 quarterback teams in this draft? I think we've got good EV in this draft. We'll go over my team in a second. That can always happen, but like whenever people start spiking that you weren't really expecting and the roll is really strong early, you want to be a little bit more aggressive in capitalizing on that. Because it can benefit you for a much longer period of time. And we've just seen like the Pukas, just like, you know, we've seen, remember McLaurin early in his rookie season. Remember DJ Chark really broke out I think that same season as well. Like we see that happen a lot for early round picks. So the rule of thumb is you probably don't want to draft, or you want to drop like rookies that you think are going to have really strong roles. You don't want to drop players who you know are a little bit banged up, but like you know they're coming back, like someone working back, like a Chubb or like a Brooks, right? We'll get back into this. But like when you've got those like late round picks, and that's why you want to take chances on late round picks that are like, what's happening here? A little bit more boom bust. You want to have some guys on your bench that are like that. You see the role is terrible in week 1. You're like, okay, fine, I'll cut him, right? You draft Dameon Pierce. Happens to be in week 1. He's still on the Texans. He has 1 carry on 10 snaps, or on like 2 snaps, we'll say. You cut him, you go with whoever's hot in free agency. But like, that's why we kind of invest in those picks later on. So that's kind of the rule of thumb, is take a chance early on. Okay, here's the team. I like it a lot. We have the Burrow stack. So we have Jamar Chase, T. Higgins, Jermaine Burton, and Mike Gesicki with Burrow. Love it. Finishing off the wide receivers, we've got Olave, Addison, Jameson Williams, Pearsall, Bateman, Wandell. We're very young at wide receiver, but you guys know I draft teams that are younger. Running backs, Achane, Brooks, Singletary, Chubb, Algier. We're obviously thinner at tight end, but I'm kind of assuming Kincaid really takes over there. Maybe Gesicki can hit on the Bengals. And then I would say thinner at quarterback as well, but if Burrow has a season I think he's going to have, I mean, the late 7th or early 7th round for Joe Burrow, really, really strong. But Carr and Shaheed, I like that stack. So I love Shaheed this season. If you end up with like Olave, Shaheed, go after Carr. If you end up with Shaheed, I think, and you want that extra quarterback later on, definitely. With Perry and Olave, it's like, okay, how about this? You need Carr as a stack. You're not drafting Carr, and that's kind of what I would have had to have done there, is take Carr naked. You're not drafting Carr naked. He's going to run for like 4 yards this season. He's not going to run for a touchdown. You got to have Shaheed, who's going to hit like 5 or 6 different weeks for like a pretty big score. You got to have Olave, who's going to have a great season. Perry can maybe, produce a little bit better in year 2, rack up some touchdowns maybe. You got to have that. I would not take him naked. You hate the injured late round picks at this point of the summer. If good health news, then they're super highly owned, so the rewards are not huge. If bad, you take a 0. Okay. To a degree, I don't actually know who that would be the case for. Like if we just kind of look here in the later rounds, I don't really know who's injured right now that is there because I mean I guess Keaton Mitchell, but like you guys know, I don't like Keaton Mitchell. I don't think he's really gonna play much this season and not have a strong role. I guess I would need like a good example of that. I guess Daniel Jones to a degree, but I think he's gonna be fine. I guess that happens more if like in June someone kind of gets hurt, and we don't kind of know their status. But yeah, so okay, how I would say that is if there is someone who gets injured, well, no, that's not even a great way of thinking of it. Because like I like taking players, like let's say someone gets injured who was going around like 11, they drop down to like around 16, 17, and you draft them in Best Ball Mania, like you are getting a different build, a different team, different combination than a lot of people, so it can benefit you. But I guess, yeah, if there's someone that is going in round 17 consistently based off hype, and then the news that's good would keep them there, sure. But I don't know if there's any real examples of that right now. You like Carr and Jawan, stacking 2 of them late. All right, it looks like you guys are all in on Carr right now, so maybe I need to rethink that. But again, he's relatively high in the rankings as well. But I don't know. I feel like I need a double stack even for Carr to hit. Like Carr's not hitting unless he throws for like 303 touchdowns, especially on my team with Burrow. So you need like a double stack to have that work out. Okay, I think I like the team. If you guys watch this far, like it. We're 33 likes. We need more than that. 500 people have been in the stream, 101 concurrent. And remember the Underdog promo. I truly do not think everyone understands you get the redraft rankings for free. Like that's a pretty good deal in that all you do is sign up for Underdog. You deposit at least $10. They're going to not match anymore. They're going to add bonus cash 50% of your deposit. So you deposit $50, they get a bonus of 25, and that's up to 250. So that's free drafts they're going to let you get into. They're going to give you, if you're into Pick'em, they're going to give you some Pick'em stuff. But then you get the Underdog rankings you can load right into here, draft off those, but also redraft. So if you're in a redraft league, you get the redraft rankings too. So I think it's a really good deal. It's the best deal in the industry, and it's super easy to do because all you have to do is sign up for a site where you can draft from. And honestly, like right now they don't have them. The $3 and the $5 drafts are awesome. You want to throw $20 into some like $3 drafts. Like you're just having fun at that point. You can rip off a bunch of them. It is helping you kind of understand draft strategy, understand ADPs, kind of like think about these players a little bit more. And while it doesn't translate perfectly to redraft, it does translate to a degree understanding, oh, I'm in a redraft league. This guy usually goes in round 7. Why is he available now? He usually goes around these players. He's way over here. It's just good, in my opinion. All right. That'll do it for this stream. Tomorrow, I think it's wide receivers. I think the industry is wrong about. So wide receivers I like or don't like compared to industry average. But I will catch you guys on the next live stream next week. We should be able to do the live stream at 6:30 again. But that is it for this one. And thanks for watching.